How do you vlog while someone's in the car right next to you? This is like a super secret vlog. He's over there. Hi. Okay, so my neighbor is gone, and now I can actually vlog out in the open and talk loudly enough that people around might be able to hear, but they can't hear. Welcome to another Motley vlog. As you can see, I'm in my car, so I'm waiting to go into session. Actually, what I want to talk about today is something that came up in a discussion with a friend of mine, is the idea of letting go. I mean, there's so many things that happen to us in our life that are negative, and there are a lot of trials and tribulations and just terrible things that happen to us. And we all have to learn at some point to let them go so that we can move on and move forward. The real question is, what does that mean? What does that mean to let something go? I mean, is it to just forget that it ever happened? Is it to integrate that into who you are, but somehow accept the negativity of it without making any sort of change? Or is it to completely forgive the people involved? I've been through terrible things myself, and there's lots of things that I think that I learned to let go of or incorporate into who I am and understand that that's part of my human experience now. But it's a little harder for me because some of the worst things that I've gone through aren't things that I can really blame on people. They're not things that I can grab a hold of and say, you were responsible for this and I'm forgiving you for this. How do I do that when it comes to, say, people in my family that I've lost? Who do I blame for that? I'm not going to go rail at the sky because that's just not something I believe in, but so there's no one to blame. There's no one to forgive. I guess I still do have to let go of the pain and learn to move on, but I think there's a difference in that kind of particular pain in the loss of someone than the pain of something that's been done to you and or influenced your life that is still there. The original cause, not just the feeling. And how do you move on with that being there? And I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what letting go of that means. I think for me, a core part of this is not holding on to the anger, but understanding it, learning what it is and how it affects us and why it affects us. That's part of who we are as human beings. We are going to get angry. We are going to get depressed. We are going to get sent text messages. We are going to get just emotional over things. I don't think that the end goal of this is actually to not have those reactions and to not feel those things. You should feel them. That's part of what makes you you. But how do you learn to take those things in when they can be so overpowering? How do you learn to move forward when your whole system just shuts down under the sheer weight of that anger, pain, hurt, sorrow, betrayal, disappointment, all of that? When you just get hit with such a heavy load and your body just tells you, this is it, I can't take any more of this, how do you let go of just enough to come back to standing strong, to standing up, to walking forward? I don't know. I don't really have an answer. It was just something that came up in a conversation today, and I thought it was an interesting topic because I think it's something that we all deal with. For me, part of the experience of being who I am is the things that I've lost and the things that have been done to me, and it's made me the kind of person I am today. And it's hard for me to look back on those things and say, I wish that they never happened. For me, it throws into confusion the idea of who I would be today. And if I'm trying to be happy with who I am, then in a certain respect, my brain says I need to be not necessarily happy, but accept the things that happened in my life up to this point, because that's all part of what made me who I am. So yes, my father died when I was really young. Yes, my mother died when I was in my late 20s. So those things, as terrible as they are, and growing up without a father figure, growing up in a single parent household was part of what made me who I am. I mean, all those years, my mom was more like my best friend who I grew up with, because she definitely was not ready to be raising two boys on her own. She had a lot of support, but she had a lot of problems and things that she needed to handle in the ways that she needed to handle them. I mean, sure, I would love to say that some of those things could have been done better, but I don't know the shoes that she was in, and I don't know how I would have handled being in those positions. All I know is that I still look back on my childhood, and even with all the kind of chaos in the outskirts, I still feel that I got a great childhood. I did have fun. I did enjoy myself, and I did feel loved. And I think that that's one of the most important things to get when you're a child. Those are harder things. Those are bigger things to think about changing, but even the smaller things, the idea that when I was in elementary school, I basically became the comedian. I became the jokester because I was too small to be the athletic kid. Because I was so small, I was very easily the target of being picked on. If I didn't make the bullies laugh, I would have been the target. And it worked for a while, and then for a period of years it didn't work at all. I was completely targeted and actually bullied pretty extensively and exclusively in a way that was not good. Uh, but that also gave me years later a level of empathy that I don't know if I would have had not going through that. I'm not saying you can't grow up with that kind of empathy and that kind of caring, but for me, it informs my outlook on the world and it informs my viewpoints. I also found when I got into junior high school and high school that the comedy bit really didn't work anymore. And I tried really hard to fit in with different groups and found I didn't really have a group to fit in to. I wasn't smart enough to be with the nerds. I wasn't cool enough to be with the cool kids. I wasn't rich enough to be part of the rich kids. I definitely was not big enough to be part of the jocks. I just kind of found myself with the misfits. And you know what? That really was, as much as you might think that that's a group created by the exclusion from other groups, it is a group unto itself. And I felt at home there. And honestly, I still feel at home there. That is kind of what goes on in my head. I still feel like the misfit. I still feel partially excluded from a lot of things, at least in my own head. And I think because of those formative years and the self-impression that you get, the self-image that is made, I still hold on to that. I still see myself as that kid in high school. And it's taking a lot of work to try to remind myself, to try to accept myself for who I am today and not still feel like I'm that person. But I don't want to lose hold of who that person was, because I think that person informs who I am today and gives me a level of caring. It gives me a level of sympathy and understanding to the underdog, to the bullied. And honestly, I like picking that side of the fight. I like picking the part of someone who is railing against the unbeatable odds. Someone who's going for their dreams and going for their hopes and going for what they want, even though everyone tells them that's crazy, you're never going to make it, you're never going to succeed, and we don't believe in you. I kind of like being the person who believes in themselves when I can make that happen. When I can feel that, I just want to bottle it up and, tuck it under my pillow. Which, God, that would be really uncomfortable to sleep on. What do you guys think? Do you think there are things back in your past, things in your life that have led you up to the point that you are now, that you would go back and change, even knowing you are the person that you want to be right now? Or maybe you're not that person. Do you think that there are certain things that would have changed that could make you the person that you want to be? I don't know. Tell me in the comments below. And if you've been watching these for a while, you know that I usually leave you a clip of Logan at the end, and not that I'm trying to get stingy about them, but I also don't tape Logan 24/7, so I don't want to run out of footage. So I'm going to keep those clips now for the end of the actual episodes and not just here. If you want to see Logan, go check out the episodes. He'll be there just waiting for you. But thanks again for watching. You can like, subscribe, favorite, and please comment below. Tell me what you think. And see you tomorrow.